All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of AssetMule Office Hours. I'm Justin Dorfman. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of AssetMule. And today I'm really excited to dive into a new feature set that we just released in the last couple of weeks in our FollowUp product, which allows you to see who is viewing your FollowUp digital sales rooms and what they're actually doing in there. So we're going to dive into a demo of the new feature today and end with a Q&A. But throughout it, if you have any questions, you're probably watching this on either LinkedIn or YouTube, feel free to throw it into the chat, and I will monitor those as we're going through and try to answer them throughout the conversation as well today. So a little bit about this feature. This was one of the most requested features since we've released FollowUp in the last, I think we launched the product in June. So, for those that aren't familiar with the FollowUp product, it essentially allows you to generate a personalized digital sales room from a call transcript. So right after your demos, right after your sales calls, you can put in a call transcript from your tools like Fathom or Gong or Otter, Chorus, and within seconds have a personalized digital sales room that you can then send to your champion to recap the conversation and highlight how you can help them, but also for them to then share with the rest of their team and champion it internally. And one of the first things that we heard from prospects or from customers as well was it would be great to be able to track, first of all, when my champion is viewing the digital sales room, but also as they're sharing it with the rest of their team and the stakeholders on the buying committee. It would be great to see who's viewing it and what they're doing, really to uncover who that buying committee is and how best to follow up. And it makes a ton of sense. I think we're all living now in a remote selling world where more and more of the sales process happens without the salesperson in the room. And we're also living in a world where there are more stakeholders involved in a purchasing decision than ever before. So the ability to see what's happening behind closed doors and get those insights to determine how best to follow up and keep the deal moving forward, how best to enable your champion is really, really important. And I think as salespeople, we've all experienced that dreaded just checking in email or just following up email, really without any value other than a nudge. And I think this level of insight gives you a little bit more ammunition in terms of what can you follow up with, how can you add value to your champion and really push that sales process forward. So that's kind of the idea here today. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now, and we'll walk through how to start using this feature. So let me share my screen. And again, if you have any questions throughout, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll stop every now and then to monitor them and answer them. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. And now you should see the FollowUp products on your screen. And for those who haven't used it before, as I mentioned, it all starts with taking a call transcript and pasting it in here to then go ahead and generate the digital sales room. Here's a little sneak peek. We are launching our first direct integration with a call recording tool, actually announcing it probably next week with Fathom, but it's already live. So if you're a Fathom user, go ahead and give that a go. Essentially what that does is when you connect your Fathom account, you no longer have to copy and paste transcripts from Fathom into FollowUp. It will automatically ingest your transcripts, generate your follow-ups, and send them directly to your inbox, actually, where you can review them, edit them, and then share. So you can really save some time in going back and forth between Fathom and FollowUp. But we'll dive a little bit more into that in a future office hour. But once you've put in your transcript, what comes back is something that looks like this. It's a FollowUp asset or digital sales room, co-branded. In this case, I've generated this for StackPack, one of our customers. and you'll see it's co-branded FollowUp for StackPack. It's got a nice greeting here. And from the transcript, it's summarizing the challenges that they shared with me on the call and how we can help solve for those challenges with some screenshots here. I put in a demo video as well for them to review and share around the team, some next steps that were discussed, some social proof and a quotes, my calendar so that they can book a follow-up meeting with me if needed. And then you'll see in the sidebar here, I've started to curate some additional resources for them to check out, the pricing options, but in the future, I may add a case study in here. I may add our proposal eventually and any other assets that they can access all in one place. So this is all well and good, but now the next step is to share this with my prospect, and as we'll see today, start to track whenever they and other members of their team view and engage with the digital sales room. So we've had this share button here for quite some time, but now we've added a new element to this where now when I click share, I can, again, as before, copy the link, paste it into an email that I send with them and share it with them. But now what I can also do is add their email address in here for deeper insights for my tracking. And specifically what this allows us to do is track when that particular person who uses that email address is engaging with the digital sales room. So just to give you an example and to dive into how it works, let's say I'm sharing this with myself, Justin at AssetMule. When I copy this link now, and again, I would paste this into an email that I'm sending them or into LinkedIn if I'm having the conversation over there, or even on Slack, right? If we have like a connected channel with them, I'm sharing it through there, I would paste that link. But now, instead of just a basic link, you'll see Justin at FollowUp, or I guess not at, Justin from AssetMule, right, is tied to that URL. And again, when now my prospect views that URL, clicks through that URL and engages with the page, everything will be associated with their email address, right? So this is what it'll look like for them when they open this up, right? It's the live digital sales room with all the content that we've generated here, all of that additional resources, the pricing options here that they can access right in the digital sales room, and anything else that I'm going to be adding here for them to view. So that's the first thing, is now we have this new way of sharing this with them where we can track specifically when they view it. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But another thing that I wanted to point out here, actually, let me remove this here, is we also now have added this ability for them to share it with the rest of their team in a really easy way. So you'll see on the live digital sales room, the live follow-up, this new share with your team button that my champion can then click on and very easily put a bunch of email addresses of everybody that's on their buying committee. And we've already drafted an email for them, but they can edit anything that they want here and then send this out to their team. And what that allows us to do now is each of those email addresses is going to receive an email very similar to this with a unique link with their email attached to it, so that as they then click through and they view the digital sales room, and anything that they engage with in that digital sales room will be tied to their email address as well, so that you can start to uncover who's engaging with what and who's viewing what. And as they do that, what happens now is you get a email notification like this one that says, hey, somebody just viewed your digital sales room. In this case, we can actually see who it is, right? We can see Justin at AssetMule.ai viewed the AssetMule for StackPack digital sales room, and we can start to log into our accounts to check out things in more detail. So that you get in real time, but then we don't want to annoy you with a ton of notifications. So the way that it works is you get, I believe, one of these every hour or so, maybe every half hour or so. The first one obviously will be real time, and then from there it will be aggregated, showing you all the views that you've gotten in the last, I'll have to check, but I think it's in the last half hour or so, aggregated in one email. And then again, the ability to log in to see stats in more detail. So I could click on this, but I also want to show you here that um, you can log in from the interface here as well to access your account. If you've never logged in before, if you're a user of FollowUp, you may know that you don't actually need to have an account to use the product. You can just generate digital sales rooms, edit them from here, share them without ever creating an account. What a logging in and creating an account does is it gives you access to the stats, the tracking that I'll show you in a second, but all kinds of other things like the ability to set your brand guidelines, curate more content that gets auto pulled into um, the digital sales room, and even access integrations and stuff like that. So the other thing that's important to note here is that you do not need to be on the paid plan to create an account and to log in and access any of the things that I'm showing you today. The only thing that separates a free and a paid account is the number of digital sales rooms that you can generate in a given day. So with the free tier, you can generate just one digital sales room a day. With the paid tier, which is $20 per month, per user per month, you can generate unlimited digital sales rooms. But creating that account and logging into the account is available in both the free and the paid accounts. And when you do create an account and when you log in either by clicking here or by clicking on the login to see stats CTA here, what it looks like is this, right? You're going to get sort of access to your account with some high level information here on how many digital sales rooms you've generated and all kinds of stuff like that. But you'll see in this digital sales rooms or this DRSRs tab here, all your digital sales room, which you can start to dive into. You can edit them from here. You can share them from here, but you can also view your stats. And I'm going to find the Stack Pack one. Here it is that I was just checking out. And by clicking on the stats here, now I can start to see some interesting information, right? I can see how many total views the digital sales room has gotten so far. So uh, you'll see 17 views here. I can see the unique views. So from individuals, right? 4 different people, individual viewers have checked out the digital sales room. And I can see how many clicks as well, a total of 6 clicks, the engagement that we have here. And then now I can see actually the section performance. So I can see what they're engaging with. I can see that somebody's clicked on some of the additional resources that I've added in here. Somebody maybe clicked on that greeting video that I had at the top of the digital sales room. And also the next steps. Somebody went and looked at the next steps there. And then finally, I can see the viewer details. I can see who has actually been viewing the digital sales room. So we've got Justin at AssetMule, Justin at ucsc.edu, justin.a.dorfman@gmail. This is just a test account, so you can see it's just me with different email addresses that are viewing the digital sales room. We can see how many views, how many clicks, when it happened, and some details there. You also see an anonymous here. And what that means is that when I shared that URL, we did not, I didn't enter a email address to tie to that URL. So it was just a basic email address that I shared with them, in which case it will be anonymous. And that's really what you get to see today. And again, the idea here is to give you a real-time notification letting you know, hey, there is life on the other side. There is interest there. Somebody just viewed the digital sales room, but also going more granular and showing you again who specifically is viewing it and what they're doing. And the idea here is to get insights. First of all, you can get insights into who's part of the buying committee, right? Maybe you find that your champion viewed it, then another email address that you didn't know, you haven't connected with that person yet, viewed it, and maybe you sort of match it to LinkedIn and you discover that that's their boss, and maybe another person is the CFO. And you're starting to get a sense of, okay, this is the buying committee. This is who's involved in this purchase here. And who I should be aware of and figure out how to maybe get in front of or maybe provide relevant information to, right? And then as you're seeing what they're engaging with, maybe you see that they engage with the pricing information. Maybe you see that they engage with the demo video. Now you can start to get insights on how best to follow up. So an example might be, okay, I saw the CFO engage with the page. Maybe you haven't provided pricing information yet. So maybe that's something that's worth doing. Or maybe you have a ROI calculator asset that you think the CFO could be really interested in. So maybe as you follow up, that's what you share next. Or maybe you saw that their boss viewed it and it might be the right time to do a second demo for that boss, right? Or maybe you're a little further along and it's the right time to draft up a proposal to put in front of a proposal presentation, even to put in front of the boss, right? So instead of just following up, just checking in emails that we always dread to send, now we can actually get some deeper insights, right, into what might actually be the best next step, the best follow up to send with purpose, right, instead of just kind of guessing. So that is the analytics here. Now, talking about maybe what's coming soon to the analytics here. So you'll see right now we have uh, you know, section performance. So one thing that we'll be adding in the near future is going a little bit more granular here into the actual content. They viewed your video or they clicked on your video. Maybe they clicked on the calendar. Maybe they clicked on a specific resource. In fact, actually, I think we've already added this view that I'm showing, or this digital sales room might have been before we released it, but now we do get down to the name of the actual resource. So it would say like pricing or proposal and things like that. But even getting more granular into what they clicked on specifically, like the demo videos and things like that. We also want to be able to break out the specific actions that each of these people took. So right now it shows you aggregate clicks of sections, and then who clicked on, who's engaged and number of clicks. But we want to sort of put two and two together so you can see, okay, the CFO clicked on the ROI calculator, or the boss clicked on the proposal or the demo video, and get deeper insights there. But we're also very interested in hearing what else you guys want to see here. This is the first version of the tracking, so we didn't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole, assuming that these are things that you wanted to see. We want to hear back from you and understand exactly what would be useful here for you. So whether it's adding into the chat now, adding it into the chat later, direct messaging me on LinkedIn or anything like that, we'd love to hear, what else you want to see on this front. So that is it for today. I'm going to take a pause here and see if there are any questions. Let me stop sharing. So I'll pause a little bit and see if there are any other questions today. If not, we can end a little bit early here. But again, if you're watching this in the future, the recording on LinkedIn, feel free to add any questions that you have or any feedback that you have and tag me, and I'm more than happy to respond there as well. But it looks like we might not have any other questions today, so we can wrap up early. This is live already, so you can go to GoFollowUp.ai, and all the features that I showed you today are again available. Oop, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Let me share it. They're all available at GoFollowUp.ai, and all available in the free plan too. So, give it a go. Again, the only restriction is the free plan allows you to do one digital sales room per day, versus the paid plan, which is $20 per user per month, gives you unlimited. But give it a go, give it a try, share it with your prospect, track the analytics, and let us know what you think. Let us know what else you want to see here, either around the analytics or anything else, the tracking or anything else that you want to see. And these office hours we do every week, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so about 11:30, depending on the topic. Sometimes we'll do demos of new features like we did today. Other times we bring in guests to cover GTM, sales, product marketing related topics. So definitely be sure to follow AssetMule on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Follow me, follow my co-founder, George. We're always posting content on there that we hope is helpful and valuable for you. And if you're a founding AE who we're building the follow-up product for, check out our our podcast, the Founding AE podcast on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you see podcasts. And check out our newsletter, the Founding AE newsletter. I think it's just the foundingae.substack.com. Subscribe to that, and again, we're really sharing our learnings as we're engaging and working with founding AEs more and more. But if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to wrap up here today. But stay tuned for more exciting things coming your way from AssetMule on the FollowUp product. And stay tuned for another AssetMule Office Hours next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. But until then, thanks again for all those that joined. Have fun trying out our tracking capabilities, and looking forward to hearing your thoughts here again soon. Take care.